Hello. I just want to double check to make sure that you're saving the projects right. You might be doing it, but I just want to double check. So for example, on my computer, here's my OneDrive. I have this GIS project. So I'm just going to copy this. Sometimes I have a hard time like navigating and setting it at the same time. So I just usually copy the path. I want to save my project in this folder called GIS projects. So what I'm going to do is, there's a couple different ways to start it, but I'm just going to hit blank templates like this is a new project. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste my drive. This is where I want my project to be stored. And then you could create a new folder for this project if you want, or you can just turn that off. It depends. And then I'm going to hit OK, but let's just call this test. We'll call it test 99. Then I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so the one thing that you could do is, or to keep in mind, is that you can then go to your OneDrive and look to make sure that it actually went there. So here's the test 99 folder that it created, and here's the project. Like this will just be everything associated with it. So you also want to make sure that when you're working on something that you actually save your files there as well. Because if they go somewhere else and then, like if they go locally on your computer, or they're in another drive, and then you go to another computer, you use something else, it may not know where it is, especially if you go from home computer to your school computer. So the other thing that I want to show you really quick is just, you may already know this, but let me open up a project that I had earlier. I'm not sure I think this is the one, but it may not be. Okay, so this project will do just to show you. So I want to just mention, like, you can find out where all your files are stored by hitting, you click on the file and hit properties, and then you hit source. And then it shows me that, oh, this shapefile called case years 2 is stored in a folder called cartography lab 5 GIS, lab 5 health data / lab 5, and then the shapefile is case years 2. So you want to make sure that as you're working on projects that obviously you're saving all of your files to that specific location. Because when files start to get all over the place and then you change computers, then the project can have a hard time finding where your files are. So the other thing that you can do is if you look in options, so I just went to project and then I went to options. This shows you where the project overall is putting things, right? So this project is saving things. So the project is called whatever, this project 24 test OneDrive, and then the location is the APX file, or your project file is being stored on my OneDrive. And then the home folder is on the OneDrive. You can just see these folder, and then the default geodatabase. So when the software runs things, processes files and creates like new files, like you might have created, like if you were doing inverse distance weighting and you created a raster image, it's going to store it in this geodatabase. And you can see that the geodatabase is also being stored on OneDrive. And then you can also see that the default toolbox. Now, for me, Pro is a little new. So there's the possibility, and I can double check this a little bit later, that, these are saying C drive and then my name. If this path is any different on another computer that you open up, there may be some difficulty. I can see that happening because it's always looking in these places for everything. And if the folder order gets messed up or the name, so if this changes from like the C drive to the D drive, it could potentially create some problems for you. Now, as far as files getting deleted and all of that, I'm not sure why that's happening. So we could talk about it in class tomorrow. And then if not, there's a GIS person who works with a lot of the fundamentals students who work on, who also use Pro, and he's been doing it for a few years, so he'd be able to probably figure this out like very, very quickly. Thanks.